So you want to get to chapter 15 without seeing the beauty in chapter 1. If views are really getting you down, I want you to remember this period is a golden opportunity. Hi, my name is Tori. I talk about life, personal growth, content tips and travel. If you're new here, so am I. We're figuring out together, but let's get into the video. When I'm speaking to you, I'm actually speaking to myself as well, in the same boat. But I think that's really poetic. YouTube is not my main platform. I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Pinterest. YouTube is new for me. To be fair, most social media platforms operate in the same way. So this feeling of no one's watching, my videos aren't good, they're not doing well, this feeling, it transfers across the platform. So whatever you take away from this video, please also apply it to your other platforms too, because I know you're probably growing those alongside your YouTube. I have a background in digital media and culture, and I also studied sociology. So I am obsessed with the way that people interact and engage with our content, which is why I think it really gets to me when, you know, you put so much effort into it and you think, okay, you're thinking about the viewer, etc., and it doesn't quite perform how you wanted it to. But that's okay, and I'm going to explain that in this video, and I've really come to grips with it too, and I want you to as well. Of course, we don't want to stay in this space forever. We want to grow, we want to help more people, therefore we need a wider reach. Yes, of course, that is the end goal. But while we're in this beginning phase, this, let's call it a blossoming, while we're blossoming, there's actually some really cool secret perks that I want you to get your pen out and note down, because oof, how it changed my mindset. If no one's watching your videos, you have to realize you have the freedom to explore and experiment. You don't have the pressure of loads of people are going to see this. What am I going to put out? You can quite literally create and see what works for you and what doesn't. In fact, you can actually see if you enjoy creating in the first place. It feels very different in practice. This period is a golden opportunity for you to create without the pressure of having to have structure, having to stick to a niche. We all have these big ideas. We put them down on paper, type them up, make our script, edit the video and put it out. But they're good ideas in our head. We don't actually know if they're going to perform, and that's okay because we're new. To jump on the platform and immediately expect to go viral, honestly, I don't think you'd be able to keep up with the momentum. If you have a channel that you've been creating videos, and you can see that you've got momentum on your page, then other people will go back to your page and then see that there's substance there. Another thing that's great about not really getting traction on your videos when you're starting out is that you have time to improve. You don't have to worry about getting everything right, everything being perfect, because if we're being honest, no one's really seeing it anyway. Every viewer does count, yes, but it's very easy to dehumanize those view counts, like not realizing those are actually people viewing your video. You just see it as numbers and the numbers are low. It's okay, because every creator has been in your footsteps. Every creator has to start in your footsteps. There's no way you can possibly improve without first not being quite good at the start. Another amazing thing I love about being a small creator is that your community is usually so supportive and present. I can't speak too much for YouTube because I'm very new here, but for TikTok and Instagram, I know that people that I don't even know, strangers, people I haven't met in real life, are your biggest supporters. They are really, really, really rooting for you, and that's your community. Of course, we all want to grow, but wouldn't you rather have a community, connections with real people over lots of numbers that you can't really identify who or what or where they come from? Of course, in an ideal world, we want both, but at the start, I would take community, because those are the people who are going to be there on your bad videos. Those are the people who are going to be there when you're figuring yourself out and you want to pivot. You're not quite sure if you even like the subjects that you're talking about. Those people are there because they like you. So really, there's less pressure and it's more fun at the start. Even though it feels like it's really hard and you're not quite getting the return for what you're investing, I would say the beginning, the grind, the hustle of starting something new, especially like content creation, is where you really build a resilience. You find out if you have the grit. Do you really want to be up for work, after work, perfecting your content, editing, scripting, finding out what's even happening online? What's the next thing to talk about? How much value can you provide to your audience? And so forth. Do you want to be up late at night having those thoughts about what next week's going to look like for you? Can you treat it like a job? Can you show up every day or every other day like you would at a job? Because one thing that everyone says is consistency, consistency, consistency. And it is true. It's just very hard when you're starting out and it feels like you're doing this for nothing. You may even have other people, family members, friends, whoever, asking you if this is something you really want to pursue. Is this realistic? So that's all things that you need to factor in. Do you have the mental strength and willpower to keep going even when things look bleak? Like at the start, when you maybe fixate over the numbers and you think, I've spent hours on this one video, so what is happening? What did I do wrong? In fact, you take it personal. Even though it is personal because it is your creation, it's your content, you have to remember that the human brain is so consumed with so many things being thrown at us. I'm sure before you even watched this video, the video before that had an ad, you were scrolling, you saw another ad, you've got all these thumbnails on the side here. There's so much going on. There's a lot for us to take in. So when someone watches your video, they do not owe you anything. They can quite literally click off. And that's because it's about time. Are you providing enough value for their time? I know that you might feel like the return on investment is not great right now because you're putting a lot of hours and effort and thought into your creations. But then for the viewer, when they watch your videos, what do they get out of it? If they sit and watch this 6-minute, 11-minute video, what do they get out of it? Is their return for their investment of time worth it? So it goes two ways. It really does go two ways. I want you to know that there are so many creators, especially on YouTube, that are in the same position as you, feeling exactly the same way you do. In fact, I feel that too. But it doesn't mean that we should give up. Nothing is impossible. The only way it will be impossible is if we give up, is if we stop showing up, stop posting, stop trying. And if you're finding that you're placing too much pressure on yourself to create content and show up, then maybe just start doing it for fun. If you want content creation to be your job, you should treat it like a job, yes. But when you actually have a full-time job and maybe you're a full-time parent or full-time friend, full-time partner, it's very hard to show up for your content creation as if it was a full-time job, but not getting any money, or you're not really seeing any indication that people are watching, no comments perhaps, no support. But I think you have to dig deep and really find the love for it, and whenever you struggle you have to find your why. This is why I created my content calendar, and it's helped me so much, because if I didn't know what I was going to be creating next week, I would feel so lost and overwhelmed and burnt out. And just before, on the first page, I have my why, so what's my purpose, and then I have my who is my audience. So I have those two things in mind always. If you have a lot of accounts, you may even need a lot of content planners, or different tabs at least, because every outlet of yours is going to look different depending on your specific area of content. Let's just say niche. I didn't want to say niche because there is an argument about niching down or not. I didn't want to agree with it, but I do feel like if you niche down, it's way easier to keep track of what type of content you should be creating and who the content is for without feeling overwhelmed and burnt out, because it's very specific. You can write so many notes and create so many ideas for that specific little box. But when you get to a point where you're comfortable and you've built a big enough community that actually like you for you, then you're able to branch out a little bit and explore things you might like or have ideas to explore but just thought that you couldn't, because now you have the platform, now you have the foundation, and you can branch out. Because some viewers, like I said, are not just here for what you're providing, as in what you're telling them, tips, or what you're showing them. They're here for you and your personality, because they feel connected to you, they feel like they know you, they've sat down with you through countless long form videos like this one. the what if is worse. If you stop now, then you never know if you could have made it to where you want to go. So that's why it's really important to just keep going. There are people that are silently rooting for you, silently watching and hoping that you show up again next week and the week after, because they enjoy your stuff, they love your stuff. So even if it feels like you're alone and no one's watching, no one cares, there are people who care. Even those 10 views, they're 10 views, they're 10 people. And every bit of analytics data that you can get from that video, dissect it, pull it apart, understand what went wrong, what went well, what you could do better next time, and then compare it with different videos that you have on your page too. I don't think this side of content creation is spoken about enough. We see lots of the end result, we see lots of the happiness that comes when you reach certain goals, but we don't see the back end of it, the frustration, the confusion, the self-blaming and the self-doubt. Because when something doesn't perform, automatically we do turn back on ourselves and go, well, what did I do wrong? The confusion, it's really frustrating. So I hope you liked this video, but if you are struggling mentally with your content creation journey, I have a video on how to change your life. It was in 3 months, but I will link it here or at the end of the video. It's just got some tips on it to help with your mental health and your physical health too. So that's certain books to read, diet, fitness and more. So it's just going to be in that video if you do want to check that out. Anyways, until I see you, bye.